This was supposed to be just another ASMR chess video, but I accidentally made history. So in this video you're going to see this super modern ChessUp board running the newest chess software in the world, Stockfish 15, play against this bad boy here, Mephisto from 1989. And some strange things happens throughout this game, and I was very confused because I had no idea what was going on when I was playing it. I was of course expecting Stockfish to just crush the old computer, as it has done in all my other videos where I have had it play other chess computers from the past. So in order to offset my confusion, I have now recorded some bits that I have spliced in throughout the video to explain what my current thinking about the crazy thing that happened in this game, what that was about. So I really hope that you will enjoy this video. But first, a word from our sponsor, who's actually cool. As a chess player, I am always interested in improving. For instance, I use this game review function to analyze my behavior and find the most effective way to improve. I wish there were such tools for everything in life, and I recently learned that there actually is such a tool to help you and me and everybody reduce our carbon footprint easily and effectively. This is Riiiiight, who I'm proud to say is sponsoring this video. So how it works is you go to riiiiight.co and then it asks you a bunch of questions, like do you have a car, how much red meat do you eat, all kinds of questions, and then it calculates your carbon footprint. So that's already nice to know, but here is the cool part. So if you look at me here, for instance, I just signed up like a week ago. I am currently offsetting 47% of my carbon emissions. How am I doing that? Well, Riiiiight, based on my answers, suggested different projects to me that I could help fund that all combat climate change in various ways. So here is my project that I support. Community tree planting. Basically plant a lot of trees. They are super transparent, so they give you all this data. So you can see, for instance, how is it going in Window, Kenya? And then they just give you all this data. How many trees, what kind of trees. Every yellow dot here is 1,000 trees. Okay, and here's my reach, that's 0. And I want you to help me with that if you're interested. I have a link in the description so you can go and calculate your own carbon footprint. The first 100 of you who use that link will get 10 trees planted in your name, but funded by Riiiiight. So click the link, let's be the change we want to see in the world. Tonight, we are going to have an epic battle of chess. An epic but relaxing battle. Because tonight, this amazing 1989 chess computer champion by the name of Mephisto will take on its grandson, or granddaughter perhaps, the super advanced ChessUp board running the latest neural network enhanced Stockfish software. So will the wise old grandfather, running at an impressive blazing clock speed of 8, that is 8 megahertz, with a program, an extensive chess program totaling 16 kilobytes of memory and a user memory of 256 bytes. Not kilobytes, not megabytes, 256 bytes. Will it be able to beat or draw or even challenge the might of the newest chess hardware we have? Let's find out. Please sit back, lie down, relax, and join me as once again we explore the infinite beauty of chess, of chess, of chess. We take my phone here. Maybe you can see it even in the other camera. Take that and let's just slide a recording of that on screen so you can see. And what I will do is I will say I want to play a new game and I want to play white. That means that the machine will play black. I would like assistance level 6 because that will tell us the quality according to this computer of its opponent's moves. We are playing the AI at difficulty 30, that is about ELO 3000. And we will start the game like so. Then I will press enter here, and the Mephisto instantly makes its first move against its grandson or granddaughter, which is pawn to e4, a move that is best by test, is what Bobby Fischer said. That is pawn to e4. And now I'm going to do something a little weird, maybe. I am actually going to remove all of the pieces here, all the white pieces as well, because unlike the ChessUp board, this bad boy over here, the Mephisto, doesn't rely on the pieces. The way it works is basically that every square is a button. Imagine a keyboard, and you can type in the chess game using these 64 buttons. Okay, we will now make the move pawn to e4 on the ChessUp board, and we will see what it will respond with. Oh, we can see that the green square light up. So pawn to e4 is, as Bobby Fischer said, best by test, and ChessUp agrees. But let's see what the machine wants to play. It plays pawn to e5. That is the response, which we will now plot in to its opponent. Pawn from e7 to e5. And let's take a look at the response. b1 to c3. That is a very logical move. Pawn, knight from b1 to c3, which, notice, ChessUp believes that is the best move in this position. The green square indicates that that is the best move, while the red square indicate that moving the knight to a3 would be a blunder. And a little bit of housekeeping, of course, before I continue with the game. If you would like to own this amazing ChessUp board yourself, I have bad news and I have good news. The bad news, well, they are all sold out. But the good news is that the people who make them want you to pre-order them, and they have lowered the price significantly. And if you pre-order them via my link that's in the description, you even get the 10% discount on top of the pre-order discount. So you can get it way, way, way cheaper than you would ever see it anywhere else, if you are patient enough, of course, to wait for the pre-order. Thanks for considering, and now back to the video. Now ChessUp plays knight to c6 here. Knight to c6. And I guess we will see an instant response again. We see f1 to c4. So that is f1 bishop to c4. Notice that ChessUp does not consider that to be the best move. It gives it a blue, which means that it is a fine move, but it is not considered the best move by this board. And Mephisto apparently disagrees. So, as these two machines battle it out, we see knight to f6 by ChessUp. Let's see if we can understand the strategy. Alright, so both AIs currently fighting for the center. We will input the move over here. So it played knight to f6, knight from g8 to f6. And will we see the instant response again? We do. We see d2, I guess to d3, to d3, excuse me, pawn to d3 here. You can actually also play pawn to d4, which is an interesting gambit, but only pawn to d3 by Mephisto here. So far the old and wise, whoa, that is interesting, because I was going to say that the old and wise Mephisto chessboard here, playing blindfolded as it were, is playing very, very solid chess, taking control of the center, not gambiting any pawns, developing the pieces, and the opponent in this game, the ChessUp, the mighty ChessUp powered by Stockfish, is violating a chess principle here by playing knight to a5. And this is of course a calculated risk by ChessUp. What it wants to do is it wants to trade this knight for the bishop, because this bishop is very powerful, and in general bishops are a little bit better than knights. This is actually the best bishop that white has, because it is the light squared bishop that is attacking the weakest square, or potentially attacking the weakest square in black's position. So among the bishops, even though they are extremely close to being equally strong at the start of the game, the light squared bishop is for white the strongest one, and vice versa, the dark squared bishop for black is the strongest one. Let's see what the old and wise, but maybe a little slower, grandfather Mephisto here thinks of knight to a5. We will plot it in. Knight on c6. To a5. And now we see the little green light here flickering, because the old and wise Mephisto chessboard has been taken out of theory. The pre-programmed opening book that has gotten it to this point has reached its end. It has never seen knight to a5 before, and it will have to calculate, use its 16 kilobyte chess program, and come up with an answer to this move. Let's see what it comes up with. takes the bishop from c4. And where does it want to go? It's going to b5. Will that bishop get trapped? Let's take a look. When I touch the bishop here, we can see the best move apparently is going back to b3 and accepting the trade. Black will have invested quite some time and quite a lot of moves into making this trade. So it's not as if black doesn't get, it's not as if white doesn't get anything for this trade. And it thinks that going to b5 is also an acceptable move, but I am afraid of something like, pawn to c6 or pawn indeed to a6, attacking this bishop. Now let's touch the bishop and see. Best move is just to move back. I guess we will see maybe pawn to b5 in that position, so that we will see ChessUp insist on the trade, but let's take a look. I'm pretty sure we will see bishop to a4, but let's take a look. Pawn to a6. And while the machine is calculating, I will say that I am quite surprised by how ChessUp is playing this. It is really being unorthodox. You see moving some pawns out here on the flank. We see moving this knight twice, neglecting developing pieces. And it apparently believes that it is, even with white's superior development, the machine here believes that it is not in danger of getting subjected to a dangerous attack, and it believes that it has time to gain a small material advantage, which is that getting the slightly stronger bishop for the slightly weaker knight. Quite interesting. Let's see what Mephisto comes up with. It does move the bishop, that is no surprise. b5, but where is it going? To a4. Indeed, it plays the best move. And will we see pawn to b5 now? Insisting on the trade. We will. Pawn to b5. This also gains a bit of tempo, because obviously the bishop will have to go to b3. And now this bishop can come on the long diagonal. So maybe we are seeing a deep strategy here from black side that will actually pay off. Let's take a look. Alright, we see an instant response here with Mephisto quite sensibly playing what Stockfish agrees is the best move, bishop back to b3. And I guess we will see knight takes. Oh no! Now it gets aggressive with pawn to b4 here, attacking the knight. This is very confusing to me. Let's see if Mephisto can make sense of it. Pawn from b5 to b4. And we see Mephisto thinking here. You'll have to move the knight, but why not quite simply move it to d4, for instance? So it plays the knight on c3. Where do you want to go? To d4. Apparently going to a4 is the better move, but d4 looks like such a sensible idea to me. and I am very confused about the way that ChessUp is playing. But now we get to see something here. It captures the bishop. Knight takes b3. Now the bishop is no longer protecting the knight. So we see a5 captures b3. And we instantly get a response. I am very impressed with the old guy or the old girl over here, because it doesn't capture the knight. It plays a sophisticated intermezzo move, or as we say in chess, a Zwischenzug. It plays knight takes f6, which is the best move, indicated by the green light here, like so. And that is check, my friend. That is check. So that is why there is no time to try anything fancy with the knight that is attacked over here. We see queen recapturing, developing a piece, like so. And so we see d8 takes f6. d8 takes f6. And I guess we will get a quick reply. Wait a minute. I actually think that it was a mistake to not have the pieces on the Mephisto chessboard. I think it will be easier for me to have them there. Luckily, I can do magic. All ASM artists can secretly do magic. Don't tell anyone. So what I will do is I will wave my fingers like this. And you can see the pieces materialize. Okay, here we are. And what move will we see after queen takes f6? White is thinking, and I think quite quickly it realized that the only move here is to play pawn on a2, captures on b3, captures the knight, like so. So, what does the grand child think of that move? It gives it a green, so it says, Grandpa, I agree, that is the best move. But what will it say now? Oh, it's playing queen to g6. That is quite interesting. Queen to g6. And white is thinking. We are of course seeing an attack on g2 here, but a lot of chess principles being broken by ChessUp here. I think yeah, it's moving pieces many times, going pawn hunting. I guess a moves like just pawn to g3 or queen to f3, or maybe trying to sacrifice the pawn. I think I may have accidentally put the ChessUp board in a mode where it is not playing at full capacity, because this looks very weird to me. There may be a bug going on. Let's see what Mephisto comes up with. So this is the position, the way it looks through the lens of Stockfish on chess.com analysis tool. And the move here indicated as given as the best for white is knight to f3, which I can reveal is what Mephisto is going to play. And after knight to f3, you can see up here there's this number. It says minus 0.49. What does that mean? That is the way the computer engine, Stockfish, evaluates the position, and if you say one full point here is about equal to a pawn, and if it's a plus, then it's white who is ahead a pawn or the equivalent of a pawn, and if it's minus, it's black. So minus 0.49, we could round that up to minus 0.5, that is half a pawn. So this version of Stockfish here running on chess.com server believes that the position is slightly better for black. And I can reveal that so far, despite my skepticism of black's play, black has played in accordance with this other version of Stockfish. Both are the newest Stockfish 15, but this is running on a different server. It's not running on ChessUp. So far, Mephisto is just playing really, really well. G1 to F3. Wow, it is sacrificing the pawn. That is pretty cool. It is sacrificing the pawn. And the sacrifice is not accepted. So I was thinking queen takes, but I maybe just rook G1. It will be a huge problem for white, for black rather. So bishop to E7, bishop to E7. And what will white come up with? Maybe he will capture this pawn, which is undefended. And it would then be attacking the queen, but I guess queen takes G2 is good then. And it's still thinking. But I think I'll just check the app here. Alright, so we see knight on F3. And where do you want to go? E5. It does look a little bit dangerous, I would say. That does look a little bit dangerous. So of course the knight is capturing a pawn, and it is looking at the queen. But I am afraid what happens when I touch this knight. Those are all red, including the moves. The move that they played. Knight takes E5. I'm interested. Does it want me to play? Does ChessUp want white to play pawn to G3? No, but apparently pawn to G4 is okay. What does it think is the correct move here? It wants to play Queen D2. It thinks Queen D2 is the best move. And I am very interested in seeing why that is. Now we will play the blunder. Knight takes E5. And instantly we see Queen takes here. And we will input that. It is attacking the rook. I guess rook to F1 is the only move. Let's see here. Queen takes G2. And it wants to play, it wants to defend in an interesting way. It wants to defend with queen to F3, which actually looks like a very, very clever move, because it's threatening a check on F7, and it defends the rook, and it's defended by the knight. Okay, so it plays queen to f3, which happens to be the best move. It's a very clever move. It's protected by the knight, and it also protects the rook, and it asks a question of the queen, because if the queen just moves, actually the queen has no good squares to go to, except capturing, which it is what it does. But first, of course, we will complete the move on the board here. And now we will play it over here. Takes like that. This one takes here. And instantly we see the response. Knight takes queen, which is the only move, of course. Knight takes queen. It also gets green. Knight takes queen, gets green. Okay. Knight takes like so. Okay. And we see an aggressive move. Pawn to f4. This is some very sort of confusing computer chess for me, I must be honest. The machine, particularly black here, is just not caring about chess principles at all, and instead just playing all these very, very concrete, super concrete ideas. I guess pawn takes pawn is bad somehow, because of maybe of d4. Let's see. Okay, so how will Mephisto react to this? It's not an easy task here. So c1. c1 to g5. Offering a trade of this bishop here, which is the best move. Wow. It really cuts. Like, I mean, this is an ultra efficient machine. It is from 98. It has like next to no computing power. The program running this is 16 kilobytes, and it plays a lot of green moves according to Stockfish. Now Stockfish does not want the trade. Stockfish wants to play bishop c5. We accept that. Bishop c5. Like so. And what will we see? What will happen in this position here? Okay, and we see a very enterprising play by white here, taking the rook on a1 and putting it on a5, attacking this bishop, and this rook was opened up by the whole concept that when black was trying to get the light squared bishop, then the way that white played it made sure that this rook is now very easy to get into the game with a move like rook to a5, attacking the bishop, which is protected. Basically saying, well, you may have your rook in the game somewhat, but you will not be able to slide across and be and have a versatile rook you'll have to stay on the A file. Okay, and white activates its other rook, which is apparently a blunder according to ChessUp. So it plays rook to G1. So after rook to G1, we see bishop to B6, attacking the rook, and that rook will have to move. This position, it looks quite strange to me, I must say. I can of course say, and I can see that black does have the bishop pair, which is good, and these pawns are doubled on the B2 and B3, which is a disadvantage, but I still go with the theory that there is a bug in the software causing ChessUp to not play at full strength, because the position looks kind of okay, I would say, for white. Hey, it's ASMR Chess from the future, checking in on ASMR Chess from the past. And hello, ASMR Chess from the past. You are wrong. So, absolutely, is it a tough position to evaluate? But Stockfish in ChessUp here is not playing badly at all. In fact, it has increased its advantage since the last time I checked in with you. From back then it was half a pawn, and now as you can see it's minus 1.76, and it does play quite strangely, but all these moves are really strong. And what's amazing basically is that white is still alive in any sort of capacity, because Stockfish, it plays at a superhuman level. But I am beginning to think that the way that Mephisto is playing is just a very simple brute force approach that just doesn't allow any cheap tactical shots, and therefore Stockfish has to come up with this very deep strategy to outplay Mephisto with its much more sophisticated, should we say, understanding of chess. So let's see how Mephisto reacts here. Okay, old man decides to protect the rook. Go to A4 and attack, and that's the best move apparently. Attack the pawn. I guess just okay. I was thinking that just pawn to A5 would protect, but we see a more aggressive approach. Pawn takes, pawn on E4. Pawn takes pawn on F5, takes pawn on E4. And we see the instant reply, basically, is we see Mephisto saying, I already anticipated that, and it bangs out the move. Pawn takes E4 again. And black just castles. So getting the king to safety and also activating this rook, attacking the knight on the open file created by the aggressive f5 push earlier. Okay, and we see white play rook on g1. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? To g3 to protect the knight from the queen. Is that a good move? It's the best move according to ChessUp. And now we get to see, like, we're making sense of the madness. Now if you see bishop here to b7, we played hero as well. And now you can say that these two bishops are extremely well placed. So they are slicing across these diagonals, looking at the king, very well protected, got these pawns, but of course I am a little concerned with rook takes pawn on b4. Couldn't that be a strong move for white in this position, or will it, I mean, rook takes b4. Isn't that an obviously good move? Or am I missing something? Probably I'm missing something. Of course I'm missing something. Rook takes b4 is protected by the threat of bishop to a5, pinning the rook to the king. So that would lose the exchange. Okay. Instead, what do we see? We see g5. We see g5 to h6, getting aggressive here. Getting really aggressive. And that's apparently a blunder. But it looks really good. Wow. Wow. So of course the pawn can't take the bishop because it's pinned by the rook. And the idea is that rook takes knight here is just absolute devastation for white. Why? Because of course you can't play rook takes g7. That's a legal move. You can't do that. What is the problem though? The problem is black's king just goes to h8 and you lost a piece here and you're not getting it back. And if you don't do something like that, then the rook will just, for instance, capture this other rook. So after the seemingly clever move bishop to h6, we see the devastating rook takes knight on f3. What a blow. And instantly we see the reply. So we see rook takes rook. Okay, so what's happening here? Because then now it's the best move apparently. Rook takes rook, and of course black will just recapture the bishop. And white has lost two pieces for a rook. And sometimes that can be kind of okay. But I guess not when the two pieces, because this rook cancels out with that rook, and then this rook is supposed to be, is white's argument equally as strong as these two monster bishops, which it absolutely is not. But what is Mephisto going to do after pawn takes bishop? Slowly we are seeing, making sense of the madness here. Okay, so we see rook on f3. where do you want to go? It wanted to throw the check here on g3. That makes sense. It's not the best move. The best move is to protect the pawn here. But it's okay. We go to g3. That's check. And the king is not afraid at all. It just activates, becoming a fighting piece as we approach the endgame. We see Mephisto playing its moves instantly, so it believes it has all of this figured out. It plays rook on g3, and then it puts it on f3, basically saying that these checks are supposed to accomplish something. I'm not sure what it is. It is also called a blunder by the young upstart, the young silicon upstart, and I guess it's just because all white is really doing is allowing black to activate the king and make the king a fighting piece, which is now exerting influence over the center here. And the Mephisto keeps on with this rook, with these instant moves with the rook. It just goes to h3. So the plan apparently was to check the king away from the defense of these pawns. What's the problem? We see the problem immediately with this super strong bishop just coming in and capturing this pawn. And what I think, now we will see if it will do some calculation here. So bishop takes e4. And I think that white was thinking that capturing the h6 pawn with a check will be really good, but this is a doubled pawn, not worth nearly as much as the center pawn, and this bishop very conveniently defends on h7. So here we see rook. Rook does indeed capture. The rook does indeed capture on h6. That is check. And the check is blocked. The rook is hemmed in and will now have to awkwardly go back. And white has absolutely no problems at all. So rook is blocked in by bishop to g6. And now white really is thinking. So this rook here that white was kind of arguing was strong on this open file here has been shown to not be a good piece. Why? Because of the clever placement of this bishop, so that the rook can never come and capture this pawn, because bishop to a5 will pin it to the king. And as soon as the king moves to stop that and try to activate this rook, what will happen? I guess just pawn to a5 to protect this. And the whole argument was that by allowing black to get the two bishops, by trading the bishop for the knight, or the knight for the bishop rather, then by allowing that, white would get this open file and get activity there, and black is just saying no, the bishops are so strong enough. I just put them on the right squares. Your rook will be like, look at these rooks. They in principle, the bishops are trapped on their own color complex. The dark squared bishop can only ever go to the dark squares. That's only half of the chessboard. The rook can go to every square on the chessboard. So potentially these two rooks have double the amount of possible moves that these two bishops have. What about the practicality of this position? What about it? The practicality is this rook can barely move. It can't capture here. It'll get pinned. It can't go to a5. It'll get captured. It can't go to a3. It'll get captured. It can go to a2 where it doesn't do anything at all. Or it can go back to a1 with the hopes of going to d1. So it can go back to from where it came with the hope of coming So it can go, it has two legal squares, h4 and h3. And on neither square is it attacking anything significant or doing anything. So the superior positional understanding of the modern technology is on display here. Okay, Mephisto tries to strike here, plays the c pawn to c3 here, trying to free this rook here by attacking. Oh, it's the best move. Wow, trying to free this rook somehow, some way. This is ignored, and do you remember how in the start I said that the light squared bishop was the best bishop that white had, and the dark squared bishop was the best bishop that black had, because they are the ones attacking the respectively the f2 square and the f7 square, which are the weakest squares. Now we see the tremendous power of the dark squared bishop of black, because rook to f8 is coordinating an attack on f2, and it's going to be very, very, very hard to defend against that. Apparently, we have an instant reply to this, which is rook on a4. Casually coming in, capturing on a6, saying that was an undefended pawn. I will now have an active rook. It's a blunder. Apparently now you can capture the b4 pawn, which is the best move. Right, so apparently rook takes b4 is the best move. Now that we have played pawn to c3, because then bishop a5 is no longer a pin, because we blocked that, and also on this rank here the rook would be more active than it is on a6. But we see bishop takes f2 as an almost instant reply. That is check. So I guess we will see an instant reply from Mephisto as well. Bishop takes f2. And the reply is not instant. It's thinking about where it wants to go. And there are like 2, 3, 4 squares it can go to, and they all look a little problematic. Maybe you want to go to something like d2, trying to maybe help this little pawn island out over here or something. Okay, but it does decide king. King d1. Okay. That looks pretty. That's the best move. Okay, I would say I would want to go forward with the king, but apparently this is the best way. Now we activate. Black activates the rook with rook to f6. This immediately threatens bishop c2 check, king takes c2, rook takes rook, winning an exchange. Let's see if Mephisto spots it. I guess it will. It is a thinking. So maybe these bishops are actually trying to trap the rook somehow, because it has such a limited mobility. And yeah, Mephisto is thinking. And it's a very, very tough spot. Very, very tough spot for white here. You have to do something about that. You have to move the rook, I think. Pretty sure you have to move that rook, but you can only go to h3. And on h3 you can get attacked. bishop, you would have to go back. Then bishop e3, I think it looks very dangerous. Let's see. Okay, you can also do what the wise old Mephisto did, is just move the king to a dark square. Going to d2, yes. So that now you can move away with a check. It's not the best move, but it is a good move. And will we just see something? Okay, we see something super solid, just protecting this pawn here, just going back with the bishop. Bishop to c5, just protecting the pawn. No rush at all. And the king activates. King to e3. King to e1. Why are you going back to e1? It's apparently a pretty good move. Why do you think it did that? I guess it's a pretty. Now this king, black moves its king to d7. That frees up the e6 square, so it can come in with a check against the king if that is what you want to. But of course, you don't control the center quite as much. And these two rooks are still really terrible for white, but black still has a little way to go before there is an actual checkmate on the board. Okay, we try to activate the rook again. White wants to go to h3. They are so awkward, these rooks. I mean, it's a blunder apparently. Is it because we can see? Yeah, we see the check, and can we almost force the king? Let's just see how this plays out. So we do play the check. The king can't have many legal moves here, or not many good moves, is what I mean. It's considering it can't go to. I guess maybe even it can actually. No, it can't go to f1. That would be suicide with discovered checks. So we're choosing between d1, d2, and e2. And on the, I guess we are defending against some checks on the light squares. So let's see what it comes up with. So where do you want to go? To d2, okay. So you do go to d2. That's the best move. Every other move was losing. And do we repeat the position here? The bishop goes back. Is that the best it can do? Is that really the best it can do? That is kind of unbelievable. That is. I can't understand that. That can't be true. Black must have a way to really push through here. Well, yeah, hello as much as from the past. Black certainly does have a way to crash through. The advantage has grown to minus 4.6, so that is a crushing winning advantage by any metric, I guess. But it is true that Stockfish in ChessUp is playing a little strangely here. But if we go back here, you can say after this check, king d2, it does want to play bishop c5 as it did. It does want to repeat the position also on the version of Stockfish 15 running on chess.com. So there is something strange going on with these repetitions here. Let's get back to the game. But okay, I mean, if it was me playing, I wouldn't know exactly how to do it. Just the awesome power of these two bishops. There must be a way to trap one of the rooks and win it somehow. Mephisto activates the king, got a few tricks up in the sleeve. Yeah, it goes back to e1. It is just saying, do you want to repeat the position? Because I want to repeat the position. If I can, that's the best move. If I can get a win here, I'm going to be very, like a draw here, I'm going to be very happy. But ChessUp says no draw. Rook f4, rook f4, and there is no draw. So rook to f4. Okay, how do we deal with that? And what is the threat really? It's not clear exactly what the threat is, to be honest. Is it because now c3 takes on b4? Is it because it has seen that it is beneficial to capture? Or it's just going to eat all of these pawns? So when we capture here, it can now recapture with the rook, I guess. No, it does capture with the bishop. Let's check. So we throw a check to His Majesty. The king moves. Where do you want to go? To e2. Not the best move. Apparently the best move is rook to c3. That means that that black is probably going to get some significant advantage very soon. Okay, the bishop goes back. It's just this maneuvering game, but of course computers are ultra patient. They don't need to force the issue. They don't need to force their will on the position. They will just play whatever the best move they can find is. What can we say about this position? We can say that now the c-pawn has gone. These two b-pawns are ripe for the taking. So I think that will be the next target that black has. And the king, where do you want to go? It's just going back. It has no moves. White has no moves to improve the position. It can only go back and forth in its own estimation. And but we repeat the position once again. Is the young upstart toying with the old and wise Mephisto? Because now we will probably see king e2. A little almost sadistic, you could say. It's really thinking. Mephisto is really thinking about this. Yeah, it's really considering. But I guess king to e2 is the only move. What does ChessUp thinks? Yeah, king to e2, only move. King to e2, yes. So will ChessUp repeat again, or is this all some sort of sadism? It does go to c5 again, and I guess that after bishop to c5, will just see king back to e1 again. And I think we are nearing a draw. Is it something about the way this whole thing is programmed that it's just confusing the ChessUp board with all its amazing computer power, or what is going on here? Mephisto is taking their time. They are really contemplating, but I think every other move than king e1 is a big problem. King from e2 to e1. Yeah, you can sing, the old guys just sing, yeah, give me that repetition, I want the repetition. But now what will we see? Because yes, no repetition, it's just playing rook to e4 check. Saying no repetition, we will push forward. And I guess we will be able at some point to force the king into a position where we can win a rook. That is at least how I would play this position. Where can you even really go? It has to be to one of these two squares. I guess it has to be to d2. But I'm not sure. Let's see what Mephisto comes up with. Alright, it goes to f1. That looks very dangerous. d1 was the best move. And how do we advance? We don't, it's just offering all this repetition. It's pretty sadistic, I would say. If it wasn't because it's a machine, it doesn't have the capability to be sadistic, but it's very maneuvering, ultra patient. And of course, with the rook on f4, the bishops have a slightly increased mobility. The king moves. The king goes to e1. And will we see, it's the only move, and will we see rook e4, check. Wait, that was a draw. The position is a draw. The position was a draw. What? That was the repetition. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Let's go and check if there is a bug here. Okay, hi again. So we jump in just before Black's last move. We are once again running Stockfish on chess.com server. We have the position here. The Stockfish here believes that the position is minus 5.78, so just a crushing advantage. But if you look at the suggestion for the best move for Black here, it is rook f4 check. So this is Stockfish running through chess.com. This is not the ChessUp one, and this one also says rook f4 check as a winning move. And rook f4 check is by far the worst move in the position. If you discount rook e2 and rook e1 just giving the rook away, where white would actually be up material, if you discount those two moves, the worst move is rook f4 check, because the king can go to e2, it can go to g2, but it can also, and Stockfish is not here, Stockfish is not suggesting this as the best move. The absolute best move in this position is not king e2, the bomb cloud move. It is not king g2 either, But king e1, the second move that it says is still winning for black. But king e1, look look what happens when I play it. You see those? 1.5, 1.5, that means the game is a draw. So chess.com server accepts that this is a draw, understands that this is a draw, but somehow the communication somehow inside in Stockfish, both with ChessUp and on chess.com, two completely different entities, two completely different companies just using the same Stockfish software. The Stockfish plays rook f4, and it's a draw. It's the worst move in the position. So any computer whiz who is watching this video, if you have a suggestion as to what could have happened and caused this bug in Stockfish, please let me know, because this is just mind-blowing stuff to me, to be honest. This is, and how well done, by the way, by Mephisto. You know, no matter what caused this to happen, we did see a 1989 computer play Stockfish from 2022 to a draw. It did it. I set the computers up, I played the moves, and I translated them from one board to that was all I did. That was all I did. And it was a draw. How I just cannot get over how crazy that is. 89. It's from 1989. It has 8 megahertz. Or is it 6? I have the data sheet right here. Just give me a second here. 8 megahertz, 16 kilobytes of ROM, 256 bytes of RAM. What? just what? Well, that might be the most crazy thing that has happened on this channel. Okay, back to the video. This is just unbelievable. Mephisto from 89 didn't just draw against Stockfish. And I mean, if Mephisto drew against Stockfish, if I plot this whole game into and analyze, and I find out that Mephisto played like basically a perfect game, then there's a historical moment to this video, and I don't think it is. I just think it's a computer bug. But imagine how amazing that would be. That is the game. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out on this channel. I'm so happy that you want to watch this stuff, and I'm so happy doing it. I hope I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.